What is up, everybody? Welcome to J and T's Fresh Take. T, how you doing, man?
Hey there, fools. Let's do it.
All right, now on our year-end review, we said that we were going to review a certain movie that came out at the end of 2017, the last blockbuster of the year that has already crossed the $1 billion mark. Congratulations to Star Wars for crossing the $1 billion mark already.
Don't congratulate them.
and
You know where this is going.
And now you know where this is going. So, before we get started on this review, first up, like always, we've given you 2 weeks. That's more than enough time to go to the theater and watch it. You know, so like I said, the reason why I gave them congratulations for making the $1 billion mark, because that means most of y'all should have watched it at least once by now.
And unless you live in China, there's no excuse.
There's no excuses.
Because it just released theirs.
Yeah. Remember. So this is going to be full on spoilers. And another thing, because this is such a passionate fan base of Star Wars fans, these are our opinions. It shouldn't detract from you liking the movie. I mean, y'all have heard me go off at length about how much I hate what Bryan Singer's done to my X-Men. And people still like the movies. I don't get mad at them. So just bear with us as we bare our souls on Rian Johnson and Kathleen Kennedy and whatever the hell they doing in Star Wars now. So with that being said, I want to start off with some things that I thought were good. And then we'll get into the list of things that make us believe this is the sequel to Dark Knight Rises. First off, I thought from an action standpoint, I thought they did a good job. Action-wise. The way it was shot, at least. Especially that big blowout scene with the Supreme Leader Snoke in the chamber, and with that lightsaber battle that him Rey against all the acolytes. I thought that was done great. And they did a good job showing how brutal a lightsaber battle is without showing blood, which is hard to do, but they found a way to get around that, and I'm glad they did. Because that fight is brutal. It's way more brutal and visceral to me than anything I've seen as far as lightsaber battles in previous Star Wars movies. Because they usually try to make them all elegant, or they try to make them
choreographed and
not this. There ain't nothing pretty about this. This is straight up. Okay, I got to kill you. This is brutal.
Yeah, not that it's bad choreography. It's just that it's more. It's not so. Stagey. It's more like you said, but it's more brutal.
Yeah, this ain't Kung Fu theater.
Right.
Y'all ain't finna see nobody jumping up 50 feet in the air.
Yeah, it's like the cheesy kind of wire work stuff or anything like that. It's just like
this is like they on the ground, and this is like, okay, we outnumbered, but we finna kill you in any way we can. And I thought that was done great. Another thing that I liked the Finn and Phasma fight, even though people have been getting mad and saying like, oh, they didn't give Captain Phasma anything to do. If you said that statement, but you love Boba Fett, you know what I'm about to say, right?
But I want to defend those people who love Boba Fett. Boba Fett didn't get loved until like 10 years after the movies. Boba Fett wasn't a quick kind of thing.
Yeah, but
he might happen to Captain Phasma, where it's just like, all right, she's still cool as hell.
Yeah.
But the problem with Captain Phasma is we already have Boba Fett. So it's like it's hard for her to be looked at in that light. So it's kind of unfair. Cool, it's unfair to her. Like it's not. I'm saying it's unfair to her because if there was no Boba Fett and you had Captain Phasma, maybe people would be a lot lenient on her. I think the fact that is Brianna Tarth. What is how is it?
Yeah, Brianna Tarth.
Yeah. So So there's that expectation, or she's
because we love her from Game of Thrones.
Exactly. So it's unfair because nobody knew nobody knew who the actor was.
Right. We did know.
Right. So it's just like it's unfair expectations in a way.
Yeah.
It's just like you should know that as a producer in the film, the makers of the film, like, well, people are expecting this stuff, so you got to do something, that kind of thing. So,
but it's one of those situations where, like, from a standpoint of like what Boba Fett wasn't. Boba Fett was hardly in them damn movies.
Yeah, he was hardly in. I mean,
he was hardly in.
Right. Most of his stuff came from like the novels, the novelization, expanded novels and stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe you could say the animated series or whatever that came out. I think it was between
the
Jedi
Clone Wars.
And,
they did a lot with.
No, there was a really old like animated.
I know what you're talking about. Back in the 80s.
Yeah, way back in the 80s. Yeah. So I think a lot of his mystique came from that. Because he didn't do nothing. He was on screen for like 5 minutes in the entire movie.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And that's the thing. Like I've heard a lot of reviewers like criticize them for that, but I'm like, hold on.
Like I still as a super Star Wars fan, a uber Star Wars fan, I still don't care about Boba Fett.
Like that's the thing. Like I've heard them in one breath talk about how deep and engaging Boba Fett was. I'm like, he was barely on screen.
Yeah, like. I understand that there's this following of Boba Fett fanatics, but I still, as a Star Wars fan from back in the beginning, I don't care. I
didn't even think he was cool. I was just like,
he was just like some really skinny dude in a big helmet, and
I'm like, he's the idiot that fell into a giant teeth in the freaking desert.
He did nothing but nod a couple of times and die. He had a really cool ship. I love the Slave One. It's an awesome ship.
Yeah. I mean,
other than that, it was just like whatever.
Yeah, dude, like you suck. So, but that being said, I did like the fight between her.
Greedo was cooler. Greedo had more to do than
basically
than Boba Fett. Like, come on.
They even changed stuff around for Greedo. Anyway, but the fight between Finn and Captain Phasma, I liked it because we're obviously going to get a part 3 to that.
Yeah.
So I don't know why people will sit up there complaining. I'm like, dude, she's not dead. She's like the road runner of this series, okay?
Of course she's not dead,
Yeah, she's the road runner. This is good. This is going to keep going, right?
Right.
So I'm looking forward to it because, like I said, I like the fight between Finn and her. I thought it was done good, and Finn got to do some trash talking.
Yeah. I'll get into why I like the fight visually. Emotionally, it wasn't quite there. We'll get into that later, but I did like it visually. I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah,
I mean, emotionally, that one shit. We don't care, but
but the thing is, it drove me insane. Is that we could have cared. We should. Yeah, they could have just done a couple of little things to make that an important, cool fight. But we'll get into that. But go ahead.
Yeah. The other thing, and that's the thing. There was a part at the beginning, and look, I'm weird like that, but I did enjoy that. I enjoyed Poe Dameron messing with General Hux just because he's so British and evil that he fell for it. And he even had the evil British look on his face the whole time, which made it even funnier to me. So I like that. Some people didn't. I liked it just because I'm like, dude,
I chuckled at it when it happened.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. The way Donald Gleason is playing this, it's hilarious. I don't know how he kept a straight face shooting them scenes because I broke down laughing. So I don't know how he kept a straight face, but he did it. And that part was funny to me. So there was some, like I said, there were some things that I liked here and there. T, anything you liked before we get into this long list?
I liked the movie visually. Like you said, the fight scenes were good. I thought the action was good. I thought the space battle stuff was really cool. Aesthetically, it looked great. It looked like a really good. It looked like it could hold up next to the older Star Wars films as far as the grittiness of it. I didn't think it was as clean, if you will, as The Force Awakens. I thought it was a little bit grittier, which I liked. So, yeah, I mean, there was definitely some stuff to like in it. So,
okay, people, this is the part where y'all probably gonna hate us. So, the reason why I said this is the sequel to Dark Knight Rises is because there's a lot of freaking plot holes in this. Right? There are plot holes in this. There's a scene that is just like I said in our X-Men Apocalypse review that didn't even need to be in here. There's a whole plot point that didn't need to be in here.
Yeah, subplots, pointless subplots.
That
was
made no sense.
Star Wars pointless subplots.
Yeah,
the version.
So, I think the big one we need to go on and let's go on and get Canto Bite out the way.
Oh God.
Okay, that whole Canto Bite. I understand why it's there. I'm saying it didn't need to be there.
You understand? Because I don't.
Yeah, I understand why. I understand because they was trying to make a statement about.
Well, that's the problem.
Yeah, a war, and I'm like, dude, okay, you do understand we don't need to see this.
Yeah. See, Star Wars is already a statement on war.
Yeah, it already is.
It's always been.
So you putting this in there to try to be like, hey, look at the people who benefit off of selling to both sides. Okay, they're in Vegas.
Yeah, but it's so stupid. Yeah, it's so stupid.
I mean, they had a track out there. They had BB-8 getting money.
Yeah, basically Greyhound track or a horse racing or whatever you want to call it.
So, and like I said, I understand from a point of what they were trying to do, because they were trying to show the little boy that has the Force. I'm like, I don't know what purpose he serves, but whatever. But the thing is, I'm like, does it need to be in the movie? Not really.
No.
I mean, because it's a pointless sub point.
If it served a purpose, then yeah. See, I have no problem with like political statements in films as long as it's like on the nose, in your face, pointlessness. Like you could have a lot of movies that I love have political statements in them, but it's not like punch you in the face with it like this movie was. The movie stopped. The movie basically stopped to make a political statement, and that's when you fail to me. Like you completely fail. And the fact that this whole Canto Bight sequence had no other impact on the film, the overarching story of the movie, other than to say rich people are bad, and beating animals and torturing animals is wrong. We all know these things. Like we all understand these things. You could have just showed that, and people would have understood that wasn't good. You didn't have to have this unnecessary character in Rose say that. She just came out and said it. It was just like, really? We're gonna stop the story? We're gonna stop the movie to introduce this crap? Like,
and it felt like it drug on.
It dragged. Oh my gosh.
I'm like, okay, can I go back?
You know what it felt like? It felt like I was watching what do you call it? A deleted sequence from the prequels. It felt like,
yeah, I can see that.
You know what I'm saying? That whole Canto Bight, the characters in it, it felt very prequel-ish, and that's not a good look for anybody. So,
yeah, and there's another thing, and he's one of my favorite actors, but honestly, I still don't understand what the hell he was doing in there. Benicio del Toro.
Benicio,
come on, man, you Benicio del Toro, dude.
And speaking of plot holes, all right, so obviously Benicio del Toro, I don't understand a lot of the stuff they threw in here that went nowhere. It's like you had what's her name? Basically female Yoda. What's her? I can't think of her name. Huh?
No, Maz Kanata.
Maz. Like Maz Kanata, she that whole sequence of her hologram and shooting and in the middle of a battle, which looked way more interesting than anything in this movie. I would rather have seen what she was doing than a lot of this Canto Bight stuff. But anyway, you had that sequence with her, and she's like, "Oh, you got to find this code cracker or whatever," and she's points him out who he is, and they go basically to the Canto Bight to find this guy. And they show the guy that they're supposed to find, but they don't get to him because of some parking ticket they had to deal with. They got locked up, so they had to deal with this other dude. So it's like, what's the point of introducing that guy, who we never even get to see or care about?
Who was at the table? Who's at the crab table?
At the table, and it was just like, whatever. So that seemed like a total waste of time. Why not just have them meet up with Benicio del Toro? Why not have him just be the guy? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like that guy was a red herring, and Benicio del Toro was the guy.
Was the actual guy. Like, why wasn't that a thing? Okay, so you have him. They get to him. He ends up, double crossing them. Surprise.
Wait, can I ask you something? When did he have time to talk to the First Order?
Thank you. That's a problem. But not only is that a problem, when did he learn about the whole basically what the rebels were doing, the whole cloaking thing where they're going to escape? Yeah. When did he learn about that? Because even Finn and Rose didn't know about that.
Yeah.
That's why they were on that mission to begin with.
The whole time.
That's why they were on that mission to begin with, because they didn't know what the plan was. Yeah. So how does he know what the plan is?
And
super huge plot hole. Like, what? This is a $1 billion movie. and you're having huge plot holes like this. How do you make these mistakes?
Obviously, there was nobody doing the punch up work.
There was nobody doing what do you call oh my gosh, shame on me, filmmaker. There was nobody doing continuity.
Yeah,
like, there's supposed to be a script supervisor that says, "Hey, this doesn't make sense."
Yeah, somebody should have said something, because that's one that should have been caught.
Yeah, that's a huge thing. Like, how does he know the plan that only the freaking purple-haired lady knew?
The only two that knew was Leia and Holdo.
Right. Leia and Holdo. Right, I forgot about Leia. Duh, she knew.
And we finna get to that.
Oh Jesus.
Holdo. And nobody else knew, because that's why Poe Dameron was doing all that ridiculous bullshit he was doing, right, being reckless.
Like,
because they didn't say nothing.
He's so reckless, but you make him commander?
Yeah.
Hello?
Oh, well,
who's more reckless? Is it Poe or the person that made him commander?
I'm gonna assume that the reason why he was a commander, because they just ran out of bodies.
I guess, yeah. But they had a couple people there that, our good friend, the fish face guy.
Admiral Ackbar.
Admiral Ackbar,
who died.
They just got rid of him like nothing. Like that is my main problem with this film. They don't give a damn about any of the characters that prop Star Wars, that made Star Wars what it is. They didn't give a damn.
I mean, Admiral Ackbar has been a freaking action figure for God knows 30 plus years.
Right? He's so recognizable. He has that voice that you just
and he has his very own catchphrase. It's a trap.
It's a trap. I mean, why wasn't he the purple haired chick? We don't even know. They just introduced this chick out of nowhere and kill her off like Darth Maul.
And kills her.
So like, what the point? Why not have Admiral Ackbar be that person? Like, I would have accepted it a little more.
Yeah,
Admiral Ackbar.
Because then we would have had a character that we know,
right,
that sacrificed himself for the greater good.
Yes, that would have been a way for Admiral Ackbar to go out.
Yeah,
a character that we know we've cared about for 40 years. And know this guy, like, and for him to go out like that, a hero like that, is how he's supposed to go out. And that's the problem with this. Main problem with these new movies is they don't care about how these stoic, long-standing characters of this franchise go out. They just waste them and they don't care.
Well, here's the other thing with that whole situation. Okay, if you bring them back just to kill them, don't bring them back.
Don't bring them back.
Yeah,
like, go start your own story.
Yeah, just do your own thing. Don't bring them back just to whack them.
Right, and one of the big themes in this movie was kill the past.
Yeah,
it just felt like, they serious about killing the past.
They was not playing. except for one person.
Right. Well, that's the thing, right? What gender was that one person? This movie has a lot of problems with men.
Yeah,
males in control.
Oh, you gonna die.
Yeah, you done. Like, we don't care. Like, the one person who probably should have went out for sure, because obviously she's really in the real world not with us anymore.
Yeah,
was Leia, Carrie Fisher.
And before we go any further, let me say this, because this is gonna probably get some people extremely pissed. And let me tell you something. The reason why I'm saying this is because I don't want to see another Grand Moff Tarkin situation.
Oh man, they said they weren't going to do it. They said,
and the problem is, yes, she unfortunately passed at the end of 2016, and they had an out.
Yeah, they had an out early on, which would have been a strong out.
Yeah, it was a strong out, and it had me until they did what they did.
Right.
It had me. I'm like, dang, because I think it's more believable.
I'm sure you were like, what? And you're like, it hurt. But I started to accept it, and the minute I accepted it,
yep,
god dang,
the
very second I accepted it, oh my goodness.
And I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, hold on, time out, flag on the play. You mean to tell me that you have a perfect out, so you don't have to, like I said, I understand that they probably had to go in a different way, but when that situation happened,
it's time to get the director and the editor get in the editing room, and it would have. Here's the thing: it wouldn't have even been that hard.
Yeah, I'm like
to like, take everything she did after that and just take it out, because you had an easy way to do it. Admiral Akbar, you could have easily CG'd him out of that death sequence, that bull crap death sequence they gave him, put him back in, and had him dealing with Holdo, whatever her name was.
Yeah. Or
Leia. Go ahead.
Or do reshoots like most of these movies have, and just reshoot and be like, okay, Laura Dern, you're gonna stay on.
Yeah, you could have easily reshot. If you look at the sequences, the stuff that happened in this movie, you could have easily reshot and added in, like I said, Admiral Akbar. You could have added him in easy without costing that much. If you look at what Leia did after, her Mary Poppins sequence, if you look at what she didn't do much. She went into a coma.
Yeah, she went into a coma for about a good 20 minutes of the movie. She wakes up right
she didn't do much.
Yeah, right after the Canto Bite thing, she wakes up, shoots Poe.
Mm-hmm.
They go down to the planet because all that stuff happens. They make it to get into the escape pods. They go to the planet. Laura Dern kills herself. They go into the planet, and then we get, the sequence of her standing in the shot that's in the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
With the bay doors about to close, and we get that sequence.
I mean, it's a great shot. I love the shot.
It's an awesome shot.
It's a nice look, but that's all it is. It's
just and that's the thing. Like I said, I love Carrie Fisher's action. She's a great actress. I mean, she is missed, honestly, but
hugely missed.
I'm sitting here looking at it from a logistical standpoint, and after watching Rogue One, I'm like, I don't want to. You got to explain it now in episode 9.
Yeah, the plan. I believe the plan was she is the one. If she was gonna die, it was gonna be in episode 9.
Yeah,
like I think that was the plan from the beginning.
Yeah,
the guys get wiped out.
They were gonna do that first.
Han Solo. I mean, what's his name? Harrison Ford wanted to die in episode 6. He wanted
to die in episode 5.
Was it 5?
Yeah, it was 5. He wanted to die in Empire, and they said no because he was too popular.
Oh yeah, that's true. That was 5. So he wanted to, and Lucas, George Lucas said no. The fans wouldn't like that. They like you too much.
Yeah,
and I agree.
Yeah,
so I understand why he went out. I get it, but there's no reason for the man.
Yeah,
probably my first hero, is Luke Skywalker. There was no reason for him to go.
I have mixed feelings on that, and here's why.
If he was gonna go, not like that. The quote, The Matrix, not like this.
Not like this. Yeah, but the thing what they should have did, it should have been really him there.
He should have been there. Exactly.
It shouldn't have been a projection. It should have been him there.
Right.
The other thing is, I like that they showed how powerful he had become.
Mm-hmm.
To project yourself across the freaking galaxy and hold it for about an hour.
But the problem with that even is he hadn't even touched the Force basically for years. Like he had basically
according to him.
Right, according to him.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he could project himself across the galaxy. Like no backstory to that or how that works, or I mean,
and that goes, and that's another problem with this series so far. Snoke is looking for him. If Luke is that badass, Snoke ain't gonna win.
No.
So what the hell is going on here?
I'm so worried about Luke.
Like what was he worried about Luke for if Luke didn't want to be found?
I don't. Yeah. But here's the thing: is Luke did want to be found. If you watched episode 7, he made a map for people to find him.
Yeah, which made no sense.
Right. Because plot hole number 10.
Yeah, because episode 8, all he does is like, I ain't doing that.
What are you doing that for? Well, you left a map to yourself in R2D2.
Yeah, dumbass.
You wanted us to find you in case we needed you, and then you get here and you're like, don't find me. I came here to die. What?
Yeah, well, you're not doing a good job of it, dude. You suck at it.
That makes no sense.
Yeah. And I think that's the problem that a lot of people had with
if you wanted to die, why didn't you project yourself way earlier than that and say, hey guys, I can't help you. I'm projecting myself through the cosmos, and I'm gonna die when this is over. Bye.
Yeah. Peace.
Why go through a whole movie of of no progression. Like there was no arc.
I honestly, this is gonna be me. Like one of my favorite parts of the prequel movies, and everybody knows how I feel about the prequel movies, is Darth Maul.
Darth Maul was awesome.
Died in episode 1.
But he came back. If you read the novels or the Clone Wars, and all that
that's because everybody else that's not named George Lucas
was like, "Yo, what are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing?"
So he had to do some retcon.
Yeah,
and bring him back and give him robot legs.
And Genndy Tartakovsky found a genius way to bring him back, which
was pretty genius.
Made a whole lot more sense to me than what they did in one of those novels I read. But
they should have brought him back in the Attack of the Clones, but that's just me.
That's just me. But what they did with Luke, I thought kind of mirrored that a little bit, and I didn't like it because I'm like, okay, this is Luke Skywalker.
Mm-hmm.
Skywalker,
my first hero, my first
and I know what they were trying to go for. They were trying to go for the whole. They were trying to do away with the whole notion of what a Jedi and a Sith is.
But why?
But there you go.
Like I don't mind you doing that, but you got to
tell us why.
Yeah,
you have to tell us why, and I don't want to find out in episode 9. You should have told me in episode 8.
Yeah, you got to give me something.
Yeah, because one, and I didn't find this out until I was reading an interview they did with Rian Johnson and Kathleen Kennedy. Snoke's not a Sith.
Yeah, he was not a Sith. No, I never thought he was Sith.
I mean, okay, so hold up, he's not a Sith.
They didn't explain that.
But that's the thing. I'm like, hold on, he's not a Sith.
Yeah.
Okay, so that means Kylo Ren's not a Sith.
Yeah.
Okay, so
but why does he have an apprentice? Why is Kylo Ren his apprentice? Because that's how Siths work. They have
that's how Siths work.
That's the rule of 2.
Yeah, because if you go back and if you watch the last season of Clone Wars, the animated Clone Wars that was on Netflix season 6, there's a couple episodes where Yoda goes to the Sith homeworld. Mm-hmm. He explains the whole thing. Now, most times one of the last things the apprentice has to do is kill the master.
He has to kill the master. That's
so
the master.
Okay, so you're trying to say Kylo is a Sith now, but Kylo wasn't trained to be a Sith, so he can't be a Sith. So what the heck? Okay.
There's nothing Sith about Kylo at this point. Like he's barely he's not even like he's nowhere near like a Darth Vader. Like he's nowhere near I doubt I don't feel he's close to even a Darth Maul.
not really. And we know he don't hold a candle to Count Dooku.
No, he's not even close.
Yeah, so
what is he? Who is he? Like
and
what happened to the Knights of Ren, by the way?
which I did hear. I read a rumor about that. That's supposed to show up in episode 9. I'm like, well, that's too late.
That's too late, man.
So
you had a perfect opportunity to explain the Knights of Ren when you're talking about
especially when he took over.
Yeah, you could talk about the guys that left with him. You could have a nice little sequence where you explain the Knights of Ren right there. But because
we don't even know how many it is. We just know that they killed the ones that didn't want to leave.
Yeah, and why did they leave?
Yeah,
how did he talk them into leaving? Yeah, I don't understand. There's so many holes in this show, and it's
were they afraid of Kylo Ren or were they his friends?
Yeah, because they were following Luke's teachings.
Yeah.
Why all of a sudden
now out of the blue?
They didn't see what happened. They didn't see.
Nobody was in there but him and Kylo.
Right. Nobody. They didn't see that. So just because he said it, like that was good enough for them. Oh, and by the way, he killed everybody else.
Yeah.
He kills your friends, but you're gonna go with him.
Go with him. I'm like, okay, so
I don't understand this.
Yeah. And then we have Rey, who I adore still, but the problem is here's the problem that I have with this one. Okay, so. Luke doesn't want to train her at all, so he doesn't train her at all. So how is she able to do all this stuff? She has to do it on her own with no training. Come on, man. Luke got training.
Well, I mean, it's sloppy as hell. It's called sloppy storytelling. Basically,
because she basically training herself.
It didn't matter. You didn't need to learn. Which I don't. That's just bull crap. Like you didn't need to learn how to use the Force to be as good in the Force as she is. Like after thousands of generations of that's how it's worked. What changed? Why does that change now?
I guess because this is a new generation and they just want to make it for them.
But you gotta explain. I don't mind It's like this is the thing. Like people will say, "Oh, you're just a fanboy," you know.
No, man, we like the same
way. I'm totally fine with change, but you got to explain the change. You just can't throw stuff out there.
And the story has to be good. I'm sorry, we can't. It's time out for this nonsense. The story has to be good.
It has to be well written, and it just looks really lazy and sloppy.
And here's another thing that's probably not gonna net me a whole lot of friends, and I know I've been losing subscribers left and right, but I read that they left all of Carrie Fisher's scenes in. Period. Like, just
they didn't cut anything.
None of her scenes were cut. Can I be honest? This movie is a little bit too long.
It's about 30 minutes too long.
They probably should have cut some of them scenes, man. Because some of them, let's be honest, some of them scenes could have been cut, and you wouldn't have known the difference.
They should have completely cut her out of the movie at that point. But I don't think it would be disrespectful. I think it would have been way more respectful than have her floating out in space, dead. Like she's dead in real life. That scene disturbed me. Watching her look like she was lifeless, floating in space.
And I know, like, at the time when they shot it,
right? I understand
why. But after that,
but when she dies in real life, you can't do that.
Yeah, just especially because, like, it would have been better if that didn't happen in the movie.
Yeah.
I would be okay with it. I'd just be like, okay, what y'all gonna do for episode 9? Because apparently she has to die off screen, or are y'all gonna do?
She has to die off screen,
or some Grand Moff Tarkin bull crap, which I really don't want to see.
The only person that went out good in a good way, I thought, was Han Solo. Like, I thought it hurt the minute I saw it.
Yeah,
but it was an emotional moment. It was perfect timing to take him out, and it made sense.
Yeah, and it made sense.
But Luke, he didn't get justice the way he went out. He was like, and excuse me, why does Rey know he was in peace and not his damn sister?
That also
what?
That
making
also,
this girl too important, too powerful without explaining why.
And she only spent how many days she
he went out and he was in peace. Who the hell are you? You knew the guy for 10 minutes.
I'm like, she spent what, 2-3 days with him?
Yeah, well, movie as far as the movie goes, time, but we saw them on screen together. 10 minutes?
Yeah, because I mean, like, he tells her 3 things. He shows her how to control, how to be.
Actually, he didn't tell her that 3rd thing.
Yeah, he never did tell the 3rd thing. He just showed the first 2 things, and he tells her how to calm herself and breathe, to reach out. That's it. Everything else, she already knew how to fight because just being a salvager on Jakku, she had to learn how to fight. She already knew how to fight. She
already knew how to master the Millennium Falcon and how to fly that thing. Why? I don't know. Why she was. Oh, and by the way, speaking of mastering and knowing how to fly things, when in the world did Finn learn how to pilot? Because that was his issue in episode.
Yeah, because he was better on the guns.
He didn't know how to pilot. That's why he needed Poe. Remember?
Yeah,
that was a thing. That was a plot point.
Yeah, he didn't know how to pilot, and that's why she had to pilot the Millennium Falcon.
Exactly.
He was better on actual gun turrets.
The gun, but all of a sudden he's piloting this rickety ass, which was a good scene.
Yeah, I would have gave the movie massive points if they would have killed him.
Dude, again, this movie's like cinematic blue balls.
Yeah.
It's like they had the chance to give him I didn't want him to die.
I didn't either.
I like Finn.
I would have gave the points if they would have did it.
Damn, he had his moment.
And they snatched it from him.
And I'm like, and for no good reason. Pointless. Yeah. Like, she stopped him from sacrificing himself with some BS reason.
Did you say that line was horrible?
It was the worst line in cinema since the sand line from Attack of the Clones.
You know what? I'm waiting for the Cinema Sins video for this movie.
I can't wait.
I'm looking. It's gonna be longer than 15 minutes.
It's gonna be a long episode. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be a long video.
But yeah,
It's like the dude he was about to sacrifice himself.
And it is not like they haven't had people sacrifice themselves in Star Wars movies before.
Right. We're going to get the plot holes on this, too.
Yeah.
She stops him. She rams into him, which could have killed both of them, by the way.
Because both of those rickety ships are highly explosive, by the way.
Right.
Okay.
Could have killed both of them. Didn't. I can accept that they didn't die. And she stopped him. She just knocked them off course. Fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so she stops him. She stops him from what? From destroying that stupid named battering laser ram or whatever they called it. Okay. What's to stop them from going in there and killing all the rebels now?
Because there was nothing stopping them, by the way.
There was nothing stopping them. She didn't know anything about Luke Skywalker showing up. She knew nothing about that. It's like everybody had the script. It's like every character in this movie had the script. It's like, all right, I know what's going to happen, so I'm going to do something stupid. Because
it would have been funny if somebody would have actually pulled out the script.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait for you talking about CinemaSins. I can't wait for Red Letter Media's long review of the actual movie, because they did a quick little thing. But when Mr. Plinkett or whatever they call him reviews it, I'm gonna be waiting with popcorn, because that's gonna be greatness. But so I saved Finn, but you guys can still end up getting killed. Because you're standing right there in front of the First Order with the walkers, and they can just shoot you to death. By the way,
it's not like they have a lot of people,
right? They don't have a lot of people, so you stopped him from stopping them from blowing the door open with no knowledge of anybody else saving you. So you could be killed still, and everybody in there could be killed, and the whole point could be just stopped or whatever. Okay, so here's another thing that the people didn't even think about. How in all hell did they get back inside behind the doors? How did Finn drag her half lifeless body all the way across that field
without getting shot? Oh, and here's my perfect one that didn't make any sense. How the hell did Luke know where they was at?
Man, the Force, man. The Force. That's all. The Force.
No. How did he know to be at that point, that location, that point in time, is to go out to stall Kylo for that long?
Luke is that powerful. Okay? You're saying Luke is that powerful?
Apparently. No, Luke had the script.
It's like he's that powerful? Like, there's no worries. He should have showed up in person.
I don't think he would have died if he showed up in person.
He could have just stopped all that with the Force and dismantled all the walkers and made them cripple themselves and fall to pieces.
Especially since Snoke ain't there.
Which would have been cool as hell, by the way.
Especially if Snoke isn't there. Because
Snoke's done.
The way they were talking was like Snoke was kind of like, I guess the way they were trying to build it up was like Snoke was kind of on his level or whatever.
Yeah, so Snoke, he balanced out Snoke. Basically,
and
I guess I can't remember their names. It's
Kylo and Rey balanced out
Kylo, right?
Yeah.
So now that Snoke is gone, like you get an energy jolt,
basically.
So according to Yoda, really powerful in that aspect. They didn't really explain that well enough.
According to Yoda, who shows up,
right? Oh my gosh! Can we talk about the Yoda sequence?
That part, at first I was like, it's not bad seeing Ghost.
No, I love seeing Yoda.
But
here's a problem with that sequence.
Yeah, please, because I think we're gonna say the same thing.
Why the hell was Yoda goofy and acting crazy? First of all, no, there's a couple of reasons. I know the reason you're thinking. But first of all, Yoda don't act like that.
Thank you.
Yoda acted like that one time, and for a specific reason.
Yeah.
He was testing Luke. When he first met Luke, and Luke met him, Luke was looking for this master, Jedi master. He probably thinking somebody who was 6'5" and this stoic person, and not this little green dude. So Yoda was testing him, testing his patience, and trying to make him realize that a Jedi master could be a little, a little porg even, that it didn't have to be this made up, this built up thing in his head, and that's why he was acting all goofy. But the minute Luke realized that was Yoda stopped acting goofy as hell.
Yeah.
He got real serious.
Real quick.
So why did his ghost come back acting like the goofy ass Yoda?
I guess his ghost went to a party in Miami and got a hold of Somali. I don't know.
To me, it seems like somebody who has somewhat knowledge of Star Wars, but wasn't really paying attention. You know what I'm saying? And then they wrote their own Star Wars movie based on their lack of real attention to Star Wars. They don't really understand Star Wars. That's what it felt like to me.
I'm going to say this because I read an interview once again with Rian Johnson, and apparently that's what they do. Like that's why I got mad, because I was like, well, it should be the same person on these. You're doing 3. It should be the same people.
Right.
It shouldn't be a different person for each movie. It just shouldn't.
Yeah. And I think you were alluding to Force Ghost being able to just, bring lightning storms.
Yeah. Now I understand what a Force Ghost is, but they're still a ghost.
Yeah. They can't affect the real world in that way. Like that. That's just how it's been. And if you're gonna change that, which again, I don't care about you changing stuff. I'm not some crazed fanboy that knows all these, little minute things that has to be perfect. I can accept change, but if you're gonna bring change, you're gonna have to explain the change. There's nothing wrong with me feeling that way.
Yeah, I get, once again, I understand kind of what they were trying to go for. I just think the execution was bad.
Poor execution.
And like I said, I enjoyed the movie. My first viewing, I enjoyed it. The second viewing, I'm like, oh God, I'm seeing all this stuff, but for some reason, I'm still enjoying myself. So,
you know what the movie was like for me? This is the viewing experience of the movie was like, oh yeah, oh no. Oh yeah, oh no. I'm not kidding. Through the whole movie, I was doing that.
I believe
out loud in my head.
I did that too. Yo. For every awesome thing I saw, there was like 2 other things that I'm like, no.
Immediately tore it down in the next sequence.
Yeah.
Like, God dang it.
Yeah. I even liked when General Holdo, like when she did that thing with going straight at them and through light speed and busting up every ship. Yeah. That was awesome.
That was one of the best looking sequences in the movie. But again, here's a problem with that sequence.
Yeah.
If you haven't been paying attention to Star Wars, there is a specific sequence. I think it's in episode 4, actually.
Yeah.
Where Han Solo points out the fact that you have to know where you're going if you're traveling in light speed, because you can bump into this, you can bump into that, and you'd be screwed. Yeah. And so if using light speed as a weapon basically has never been done, and that's why, because you can't really pinpoint that way.
You can't control it.
Right. You have no control over it. Again, I loved it. I thought it was cool. It looked cool. But again, if you're looking at continuity, which this movie didn't seem to care about continuity at all, it doesn't fit continuity. But again, it was a cool sequence. I didn't mind it at the end of the day. But my only problem is that I didn't care about the person who did it. Like, she did one of the stupidest things in this whole entire movie for no good reason other than to have some gotcha moment, pointless gotcha moment where it's like, oh, we were set up to dislike you, but you were actually doing something good. But that thing you were doing good, you could have easily just told everybody and saved lives.
Yeah,
saved a pointless subplot.
A pointless subplot.
Right, because here's the thing: like, the main thing was like, oh, Poe Dameron is too
cocky,
too cockstrong. He does dumb things and whatnot, So she didn't want to give him the information about, for whatever reasons. But the minute she gave him the information, he was like, oh, that's a good plan. So it's just like, why keep it from him when he thought it was a good plan anyway?
Yeah,
it's just stupid.
He
said literally, oh, that's a good idea. It's a good plan. The minute he was told. He could have just told him that from the beginning.
The minute he was told. And I'm like, okay, if that's the case, why didn't y'all just tell him, especially if you say he's your commander?
Here's the thing. If you know him to be reckless and cocky, why wouldn't you think it'd be safer to tell him what you're doing instead of not, so he doesn't run off and do something reckless and stupid?
Yeah. Because that's what he was going to do if you didn't tell him.
You know this about him. Why not tell him from the beginning? Because he might do something like, I don't know, mutiny, which is what he did.
Yeah,
man.
That whole part, especially with the compounded with the Canto Bite thing, that was like 30, 40 minutes that could have been cut out.
Completely cut out. It went nowhere. And again, all these characters that have working knowledge of the film that they shouldn't have. Like the plan, you know what I'm saying? Like, somehow Rose knows that Luke Skywalker is going to save them, so she can, knock Finn off his course. Somehow, oh my gosh, what's his name? DJ, which is what's his name's character?
Yeah, Benicio del
Toro's character knew about their plan, even though
they didn't know
about it. Like it just they didn't even know. The people that he double crossed didn't know. Where did you get this information from? It made no sense.
It would have been better if they would have said he was telepathic or something, and maybe he read somebody's mind.
But it just speaks to the fact that nobody's paying enough attention. It's just like, let's tear everything down. That's the problem I had. Like, first of all, Force Awakens was a hard pill for me to swallow. Like, I liked the movie. Like, I liked it. And the reason I liked it was because of the characters. I thought the characters were strong. They were likable. Poe, Finn, Rey, that Triforce of characters was good. I liked it. Obviously, I didn't like the soft reboot nature of it. It basically was a soft reboot of A New Hope. But I liked most of it. I really did enjoy it. I didn't care for the supersized Death Star. That was kind of stupid. It was actually really stupid. But I swallowed that. Yeah. I swallowed that pill because they set up, this mysterious character, Rey. Who is she? Who is her parents? I didn't set this up. I didn't make this up. I'm not one of those fan channels that had all these theories on who Rey is and who Snoke is. I didn't even watch any of that stuff. I cared not for any of that.
Yeah, I'd rather the movie.
I'm not one of those people like, my dreams didn't come true. My my fan theory didn't come true. I didn't care about any of that. So I'm not upset about that. I'm upset about the fact that they set these people up and tore them down. Like, they set Finn up. Finn could have had a really cool backstory. Again, this is what I was talking about with Captain Phasma. What if she was the one that actually snatched him from his parents?
Yeah, and
how much more poignant would that fight have been? How much more emotion would have been in that fight if she
started having memories of it?
Right, like that would have been so good. Like, that would have been a great setup for them. Their 3 fights. Because there's gonna be another fight. She's not dead, I don't think, unless they're completely stupid
to kill her. They'd be
stupid. So that would have had so much more emotional weight. Like, if he would have just done that, but he didn't do anything. He was not integral to this movie whatsoever. He did not matter one bit. If you took him out of the movie, nothing would have changed. Am I wrong? Like, the end result would not have changed.
No, because that's why I was like, okay, if they kill him, to me, that would be the biggest.
That would have gave him something. You know?
And it would, to me, and honestly, it would have been like, it would have gave Rey that push to be like, okay, you know what? The hell with you, Kylo. I ain't finna try to say, the hell with you.
Yeah, she was coaxed by the dark side a little bit, and that would have been like her push. That'd have been her motivation.
To be like, you know what? Screw you. Because she was trying to save him.
Yeah, my friend basically died trying to protect, the rebellion because of Kylo.
Yeah.
He's basically the reason, Finn is dead, or he would have been in that alternate.
He did it.
Right.
But my thing is, if you're gonna do that, you should have did it.
You should have just did it. Don't play around. If you're so bold,
you're
trying to make yourself out to be all these people talking about how bold this Star Wars was. No, it wasn't.
Nah, they played it safe.
No, it wasn't. You know what would have been bold? If Finn would have kissed the white girl. That would have been bold.
They ain't gonna do that.
Not him kissing a Chinese girl.
Oh no, they ain't gonna do that.
Or her kissing him. Yeah, exactly. That bold.
The hell they caught on the first one, just her kissing his forehead.
Just hugging and getting a forehead kiss.
I'm like, jeez. Y'all would have mad about a forehead kiss, really?
Don't tell me how bold you are when you won't do something that simple.
Yeah, and that's why I was like, okay, because when it was happening, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be awesome if they kill him, because nobody's gonna see this coming.
Right.
And they didn't do it.
Nope. They punked out.
Yeah.
They literally punked out on screen. And it was just a series of punk outs and pretending to be edgy and bold. It's just like, oh, we're gonna do everything to piss people off. Like, I think Luke has a line in the movie that says, "This is not gonna go how you think it's gonna
go." He says
basically telling the audience that, you know.
Yeah, he says it twice, and I'm like, the last time he says it, I laughed because I'm like, it didn't go the way I thought it was gonna go.
Yeah, it totally didn't do it, but it went a way that wasn't good. Like it's one thing to do something just for the sake of doing it and to look edgy and bold, but if it has weight to it, then it's good. That's what makes it good, not just that you did something.
Now, and here's the thing that I also understand. I'm like, I understand he had to go off what J.J. Abrams set up, because this movie basically picks up. Yeah, this movie basically, unlike the prequel trilogy and the original trilogy, this film picks up like 2 days after the first one stops. Because like in the originals, they span years. They pick up years later.
Right.
This was like 2 days later.
Yeah. Well, if you think about Rey, it's a couple minutes.
Yeah, because she goes to Ash2. Finn wakes up like in the middle of them about to do that raid.
Yeah, like you got to remember, like his last vision was Rey getting knocked on her ass and him getting sliced in the back.
Yeah,
but he wakes up and he's like, "Where, Rey," because that's all he knows. He don't know what happened in between all that.
No.
So, but they messed that up. Even that could have been an emotional moment, and they got him running around in a comical way with water leaking. Like, every time they had a chance to do something emotional with Wade, they dropped a stupid, corny comedy line that doesn't fit or doesn't quite land, or they do something like that where they make it into a joke.
Are they trying to make him comic relief or something? I don't understand that.
You say that, but I don't think they're just trying to make him comic relief. I think Poe now lines, that was an emotional moment too, and they ripped it away. Like, I laughed at the time.
Yeah.
But I was like, well, this is kind of a serious situation going on here.
Yeah, you don't need levity in this situation.
No, like, and Poe started off such a badass. The dude took on a dreadnought by himself, took out every cannon on that bitch, which would have been a really cool moment for him, but they'd snatch his stuff away by making him a reckless dude that got everybody killed.
Yeah, basically, because he wouldn't listen.
But it's like that whole plan.
What was the point of him doing that? Like, if you know you don't have that many destroyers, if you know that you don't have that many bombers, I mean,
he's a commander. They made a commander.
And you know how he is.
And what about those bombers? What a weak. Excuse me. They had 30 bombers.
Yeah.
And 29 of them exploded before they can launch one set of bombs. Like,
yeah,
that's a bad tactician. That's a bad setup. Like, why would you put something? When you put all those bombs on such a slow, no shield having, they were super slow, and they had no shields basically.
None.
Three of them were taken out by TIE fighter debris.
Yeah.
I saw three of the bombers went down by a TIE fighter exploding and the debris hitting them. Like, what? Why are they so weak?
So my thing was, did y'all go to the Shade Tree repair mechanic guy to get the freaking bombers? Because you're right. I'm like, okay, if they're your bombers, they shouldn't be A, that slow, and B, no shielding.
None.
They should have shielding, some kind of shielding, because if they're that, especially if they're that slow.
Yeah, you're a bomber and you're slow. You should have shielding to protect yourself, because it's gonna be, you're gonna be getting shot at multiple times, a lot.
Yeah. So, because you already know you don't have that many X-wings.
Right.
If you know you don't have that many X-wings, why are you trying? First of all, if you know you don't have that many X-wings, that's how you know these are bad generals. Because if you don't have that many X-wings, then you know that you got to do quick sneak attacks.
But isn't that
do no all-out dogfight?
No. But isn't the fact that they don't have a lot of X-Wings or a lot of Rebels, isn't that the biggest problem with this whole new trilogy?
And but they say that the majority of them are out in the Outer Rim. Hold on. Once again, timeout. Flag on play. They're out in the Outer Rim and they ain't helping y'all.
They ain't helping. Like,
what are y'all doing?
You destroyed the mega weapon. You had them on the run. Why aren't these people showing up to put the last blow on these dudes?
Yeah. Where are they at? Oh, we can't get the signal out. Okay. Why didn't you put the signal out when y'all destroyed the Starkiller base?
Can somebody please explain to me why the First Order seems to have more resources than the Empire, than the Galactic Empire had?
Can somebody explain?
They're supposed to be remnant. They're supposed to be a small faction.
Yeah, they shouldn't be this big.
Why are they this big?
I understand the galaxy.
Who is running the show? Snoke? No, not anymore.
Where did they get all the money from?
Where did they get this money? Where did they get these resources? When the Republic was in charge, they had beat the Empire.
And
this happened in 30 years?
Here's the thing I don't understand. They built 2 Death Stars, but the problem was, I remember them saying how much it cost.
The resources.
How the hell did they build one Starkiller base?
How did they build a Starkiller super mega Death Star in 30 years as a small faction of the Empire? I don't understand. Like that's the fundamental problem. The fundamental problem with this new trilogy is that the foundation is weak as hell. It is unsteady and weak. And when you build on top of that, it's going to start to expose itself. And that is the problem with this new trilogy. Like, it's on a weak foundation.
I honestly just don't think they had any quality.
They could have done something from the beginning that was bold and different from the other Star Wars. Why? Because that world was gone. The world of the prequels and the world of the original trilogy was gone because they had defeated the Empire. And now you had this new First Order group, and it could have been a completely different kind of Star Wars movie or trilogy, and which I would have had zero problem with. I was expecting that. I wasn't expecting a reboot of A New Hope.
Yeah.
And then a movie that's had to tear everything down because it's like, oh, we can't continue. We can't do a reboot of Empire Strikes Back or something. Like,
which I'm glad they didn't do that.
I'm glad they did. But there was some elements of Empire Strikes Back in there.
Yeah. But we saw all of those in the trailer. So
yeah. So it was just like, I was, as a fan, an uber fan of Star Wars who grew up with this, I would have had no problem with that. Zero problems with that. But they didn't do that. They got scared and they did a soft reboot. And then they had to like retroactively destroy that in a very sloppy ass movie with no continuity.
We are both gamers.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had this situation happen on the gaming front.
Oh yeah,
a lot of times.
A lot.
So I'm actually thinking this is one of those times where I'm sorry, but the ridiculous fans, the loud ridiculous fans, really should have shut the hell up.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is y'all fault.
Yeah.
All of these ridiculous fans that was like complaining about The Force Awakens. Me, yeah, it was a rehash, but I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna be mad about it because let's be honest, the last one was 30 plus years ago.
Right. I enjoyed The Force Awakens. Like I said, I had issues with Starkiller Base, but other than that, I think everybody did. Yeah, I mean, I think most people did, but they looked past it because they liked the characters.
Yeah,
and they completely destroyed the characters to me.
Yeah, it was different. It was something that, while familiar, it was still a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
This one, they listened to y'all. They did.
It's like, all right, we're not gonna do.
We're not gonna do that.
Another soft reboot. We're gonna go completely off the wall.
And now you're mad again,
right?
But me and you are upset because we looking at it from a story standpoint.
Right, story standpoint is like what you doing. Like, I don't mind you doing it, but you gotta have the story together.
We're not mad about Luke. Them how they doing Luke or
I am that is my one crawl. Like, to me, the Luke Skywalker I know
would not have done that.
Would not done. Like, here's the thing. I'm glad you brought up Luke because this is one of my main points I wanted to make. Picture episode 5, episode 5, Empire Strikes Back.
Mm-hmm.
Luke Skywalker is training with Yoda, right?
Mm-hmm.
He decides to leave Yoda basically in the middle of his training, because he says to himself, I sensed good in my father, Darth Vader, guy who's murking everybody left and right.
I'm talking about left and right.
Yeah, just didn't care about nobody.
Yeah.
Luke Skywalker. Oh no, I sense there's good in him. I can turn him. Based on nothing but a feeling, right? Basically.
Yeah. Basically, yeah.
So he goes and basically gives himself up to the bad guys. So he gives himself in, becomes a prisoner of the Emperor. He don't know the Emperor. You know what I'm saying? He don't know what the Emperor can do, or he has an idea of what the Emperor does, and the Emperor has no connection to him. So he ain't gonna turn the Emperor. He ain't gonna exactly. He ain't gonna turn the Emperor. He might turn his dad, but that might mean nothing. They might both be killed, right?
Yeah.
So he sacrifices that. He goes anyway because he believes he can turn his father. So this guy, Luke Skywalker, who believes that he can turn his dad because he felt a little bit of goodness in him,
the ultimate optimist,
is gonna go in to his students' quarters, his nephew, by the way, his blood relative, and for even half a second, decide he's gonna strike him down because he's felt darkness in him. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Luke Skywalker, who thought he could save Darth Vader, which he did.
He wound up doing it.
And murder his and go and murder his nephew and during his wet dream.
Apparently.
Based on him feeling some darkness in him. Are you kidding me?
And I think like
that is the biggest problem.
That is because the thing is Luke in the originals is the ultimate optimist.
Yeah, he's the ultimate optimist. That's why we all loved him. That's why I said he was my first hero before the comic books. He was my first hero, and he's the ultimate optimist. Everybody else is kind of world weary and war torn and whatnot. But he has the bright eyes. He's bushy tailed, and he's like, no, we're gonna go take on these guys. I want to leave the farm and become. It will find a way. He has so much hope. A new hope is him. He's a new hope. Luke Skywalker is a new hope. So it's just that guy and turn him into a curmudgeon, which I don't mind him being a curmudgeon and being kind of goofy or whatever. But to
write it better,
almost strike his. Here's another thing, another continuity problem. Okay, wasn't he standing over Kylo Ren about to strike him down when Kylo force pushed him? Right,
he blocked his lightsaber, and then he force pushed him.
Right, took his right. When in that sequence did he end up? I don't know, a half a mile away from the
compound.
The compound where he's watching it burn.
I have no idea.
Again, continuity. They just didn't give a damn.
But see, like with me and Luke, I'm like, okay, I understand that, life, because we don't know what happened in them 30 years with Snoke, because apparently he knew Snoke.
Mm-hmm. Apparently.
That would make him feel like he lost out.
Right.
So I don't know what happened. I wish they would have said something, honestly, but I don't know.
Is Snoke more powerful than the Emperor?
He can't be.
No.
He can't be.
So why was he more worried about Snoke and his nephew being?
And that's the other thing about it. Because I'm like, if Snoke has been talking to your nephew,
sit him down. You
shut down Snoke. You don't go kill your nephew.
And tell him about Vader, because he's obviously a Vader fanboy. Tell him, Vader was this and this and this and that. But that's not what made Vader great. What made him great is that he came to the light side and he destroyed the Emperor. That should be something that grandson should be like, wow, that's what you should look up to in Vader, not him murdering younglings, and being by the Emperor's bitch or whatever. That's what made Vader cool. In the end of the day, the lesson to learn from Vader is that he came back to the light side. So it just made no sense for Ben Kenobi to even I call him Ben Kenobi. Ben
Solo.
Ben Solo. It made no sense for him to even ponder or care about that Vader. It just
unless he didn't know.
Yeah, unless he didn't know, and that would be Luke's fault, but you want to, but you got to set that up. Luke didn't want to tell him about Vader and blah blah blah. You're like, that could have been a thing. That would have been fine.
Or Leia didn't want to tell him.
Or Leia didn't want to tell him. Nobody wanted to tell him about Vader.
And let's be honest, Han just wasn't there.
But that didn't make sense because Vader was a Force ghost at the end. And he was a good, he was his good part. It was a good side.
It would have been a perfect chance to bring in Hayden Christensen.
That's a teachable moment.
It was a perfect chance. It was a perfect chance to bring back Hayden Christensen.
Oh God,
boy, people hate that dude.
But I don't hate Hayden Christensen. I don't get.
I hate the dialogue. I didn't hate.
It's not his fault. He didn't write the damn movie.
No, he didn't write the movie. But my thing was I liked what they did with Luke because once again people do change. So the problem is you got to explain the change. You have to explain it. You have to explain why he went to that extreme. Mm-hmm. And once again, like you said, the Luke that we last saw in Return of the Jedi would not have done that.
Not have done that at all. That wouldn't have been.
The Luke
for a half second standing over him with his lightsaber drawn. Like, come on, that's not happening.
Now, Luke Skywalker, that was the voice of the Joker in Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah, he might have done that.
He would have done that.
He would have done that no problem and thought twice about it.
And would have made it and would have had a dope one-liner for it.
Yeah, when it did the nice cool laugh, and you were like, oh yeah.
And we would have saw Tara Strong as Harley Quinn.
Right.
But in all honesty, I mean, to me, I think like some of the more boisterous, I should say, fans, the ones that don't ever shut up, are the ones that are you are the cause of this.
Right. Like I'm not one of those. They ruined my childhood. It's a movie. Like,
they ruin your child. Your childhood is at Walmart in a box DVD set. Shut up.
Exactly. Like this isn't gonna ruin. Like
you can still enjoy it.
To me, this ruins this trilogy. I think Disney and with the direction Lucasfilm is going in with this trilogy. I hate to even. I mean, technically it is Lucasfilm, but George Lucas has nothing to do with Lucasfilm anymore.
Yeah, he does.
So
I mean, I would have
Kathleen Kennedy's company, basically.
I mean, that check he got was.
He got a nice check, but he was expecting like they were going to consult him.
Oh no, they wouldn't.
He got mad, basically when they didn't.
Yeah, because
he called Disney white slavers.
Well, Kathleen Kennedy in control though, ain't it?
Yeah,
she's in control. She calling all the shots.
I don't know how much longer that's gonna last after.
Well, they just made $1 billion. They ain't gonna get mad at her right now.
That's cool, but they know, it's one making $1 billion is great. Obviously, they did.
Yeah,
but there is a lot of what do you say?
Pissed off people.
There's a lot of pissed off, fans, and they're not going to show up for the. Like I'm not showing up for episode 9. I'm not going to the movies. Like they ruined this trilogy for me. They didn't ruin Star Wars for me. That's silly.
Yeah, but because they're going to be more stories.
Yeah,
they're going to be more stories. I think. And I think like my main gripe is like you said, it's with the story, right? And I'm like, somebody should have read over that again. Somebody should have been like, hey man, we missing some plot points, dude. This Canto Bite jump don't make no sense. So we can cut all of this out. I mean,
that was just like they could have cut that entire sequence and nothing would have changed.
And punched up some of the writing. And for God's sake, if you're gonna kill Luke, at least have Luke there for real.
He should have been there. I knew the minute I saw him that he wasn't there because obviously he was a lot cleaner.
Yeah, he was a lot cleaner.
And I'm like, really? Why are they doing this?
Yeah, because especially when he survived that blast by not doing nothing.
Yeah,
I'm like, he ain't there.
Here's another. You thought you were gonna see something that it's not gonna see. Like they showed us his X-wing underwater.
Yeah.
To make you think that he would fly, because we've seen him
busted up.
Well, we've seen him pull an X-wing out of the water before and fly off in that thing. So you thought maybe he would be able to do that again. If he's that powerful, a Jedi, as they set him up to be.
Oh, he would have did that without blinking.
Right. So it's just like, so they made it seem like, oh yeah, he could have easily flown there himself. Although I don't think an X-wing could fly that far, but I don't know. I can't remember the.
It was busted. Like the wings was busted.
I don't remember. I might have missed the wings and all that. So I just
like when you look at it because they've taken steels and put them on the net. When you look at it, you can tell like the wing on that right hand side is broke.
Okay, because at the time I just saw the X-Wing, I didn't really pay attention to it.
I mean, because it's one of those things they don't like. They focus on it, but it's so much other stuff going on, you can easily miss it.
Yeah, I just missed it. I saw the X-Wing in the water. That's all. I wasn't really studying it or staring at it like that, so I just missed, the wear on it. So I was just thinking, okay, well, he has a ship, even though Daisy took off in the Falcon, that he had a way to get out of there. So, but I was like, he doesn't look right. Something doesn't look right. And then when he gets shot up, and then he comes out, and I was like, yeah, definitely, he's not there.
You the whole dirt off your shoulder.
And he did oh my God, is this 2004 a Jay-Z video?
Like, I mean, Jay-Z would have been proud, dude. Jay-Z
oh my goodness.
Jay-Z
Luke Skywalker just brushed his shoulder off, and this,
I'm like, all right, okay.
So it wasn't even an up-to-date pop culture reference. Like, this is the type of stuff we're dealing with here. It's like, come on, man.
But I will say, after all of this, unlike Batman Dark Knight Rises, I still enjoyed this movie.
Yeah, I enjoy. Well, here's the thing. I enjoyed Dark Knight Rises better because you know why? The heroes were intact.
Yeah.
When that movie was, even had all those plot holes, ridiculous stuff. Who painted that damn bat symbol on the bridge? Like, come on, man.
Definitely on the side of a bridge.
How many days would it have taken to get up there and paint that bat symbol on the bridge and gasoline or whatever they used? Like, that was a joke. So even with that, Batman was still Batman at the end of the day. They didn't turn him into some crazy killer or somebody who didn't care. Like, he didn't care at the beginning of the movie. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the movie, basically towards the middle of the movie, he started caring again about being Batman and doing what he does. And you could say, well, that's what they did with Luke. Like, he didn't care. But the problem is he left, he left that,
he didn't care, but he still didn't care.
But at the end of the day, he didn't care enough to even show up.
Yeah, I'm like, he didn't care, and she did, and Rey did finally get to him, but after Yoda talked to him,
but
he still didn't care.
Like, he had a moment. He didn't care about his friend dying, his best friend, and and Han Solo. Like, they were about to have a moment where he's like, what happened to Han Solo? And they cut away to Kylo Ren. I'm like, what?
Which they should have never did.
They should have never did that. Give that moment.
But here's the thing. If you do that and then he still don't leave, that's not Luke.
Exactly. That's why they cut away. It was like, oh, bye. We don't know what to do here. Let's just let's cut away from this because he's not leaving. So that's the problem.
Okay, so let me get this.
He didn't care. And his sister, by the way, who could die, who needs his help. He don't care about his sister?
Yeah.
He cared about nobody.
And that's, I think that's the point where, like, as from a movie going standpoint, I'm like, you need to explain why he doesn't care about his family.
Right. Explain why he doesn't care about Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren.
His family made him not care about his family. Please explain.
It's a hell with Kylo Ren. And before anybody says, "Oh, well, he tried to kill him, and that's why he didn't want to talk to sister," I don't buy that. I just don't.
They tried to make that a thing. Like, okay, she didn't even care when he told her.
And that's what I'm saying.
You probably should have killed his ass.
I'm sitting up here looking. I'm like, dude, I don't buy it, and you shouldn't either.
No,
because they don't explain it. I'm sorry. There's certain things in a movie that needs to be explained for story purposes.
Yeah.
And this had a lot of stuff that just wasn't explained for story purposes, in my opinion.
Oh, definitely.
In my opinion, because I know I can hear the keyboard warriors now, boy. They'll be all right though. They'll live.
They'll be all right.
Yeah, I mean, y'all got Solo coming out 2 weeks before Deadpool 2.
I totally expect that to be a complete train wreck. What I've been hearing from behind the scenes, obviously they fired Lord Miller and they said the main guy can't act. They had to hire an acting coach.
Yeah,
it's just this stuff is true, man. God dang,
it's gonna be hilarious because you know what comes after them.
And then again, it's like, why is this even a movie?
Well, because they want to do like an anthology thing, and instead of just like doing the expanded series or just doing like what people actually want to see, Darth Maul.
No, give us Dash Rendar. Like, he's a cool character. Like, and then nobody really knows about him. Other than
but
like
they've said on multiple occasions that the expanded universe is not canon anymore. Well, if it's not canon, that's what you make your little side stories off of.
Yeah, right. I don't.
I mean, you can change up a couple names. We ain't gonna get mad.
You can take the canon, the non-canon, and make it canon. You can take certain things, rework them, and then okay, this is canon now.
Yeah, and just have that as be your standalone side story movies.
Yeah, because obviously, what happened with the expanded universe, as far as Luke Skywalker, him going to the dark side and all that stuff, none of that stuff was canon. And he has a daughter, right? I'm trying to remember.
He has a daughter,
right? So, and she brought him back, right?
Yeah, she brought him back.
Yeah,
because like in that one's actually one of the better stories that I like. Because that was what 3 or 4 books.
Yeah, it was like 4 books, I want to say.
Yeah. So because he actually rebuilds the Jedi Temple and everything. So I mean, but they couldn't have did that anyway because
no, they couldn't have done that in the movie.
Yeah,
which is fine.
He's entirely too old to do that.
That could have been the backstory, though. You couldn't stop that from being the backstory. Like, there was so many opportunities to still do something different, but still make this a Star Wars movie or make this a Star Wars new trilogy or whatever. And I feel like they just, like I said, I feel like they're hiring people because Rian Johnson, he was actually a writer, which I like. I like when they the director writes. Because it's their thing, it's their vision at that point,
Yeah,
I like that. I didn't like this vision, but I like the idea of a writer director. And they had an opportunity to do some cool new stuff, and they spend way too much time trying to tear down what Star Wars was instead of build up their own Star Wars. And that to me is it's disrespectful to Star Wars and the fans and whatnot. And I'm not talking about the fanboys. I mean, just like, the fans of Star Wars in that world and that,
I mean, like I said earlier, if your plan was to kill Han Solo, Leia, and Luke, you shouldn't even brought them back.
There was no point in, or again, if you do bring them back, respect them.
Yeah.
Take them out in a respectful way.
Yeah.
They are important characters. They are the Triforce of this great saga.
Yeah. I mean, the original movies don't work without them.
No,
they just don't work. They don't work without them. I mean, hell, you have to admit that it doesn't work without them. Just like
if you don't believe us, go watch the prequels.
Yeah, just like if James Earl Jones does not voice Darth Vader, it don't work.
It doesn't work
because I don't
the
care
voice
what
that they used
says.
before him. Because they were going to go with him from the beginning.
Jones is a frightening man.
Yeah, they weren't going to use. They were going to use the actor's voice.
Yeah, and that was just
originally, and they were like, "This isn't working."
Nah, because hell nah.
You
when you hear James Earl Jones do it, you like okay. All I'm hearing is this weird ass breathing, and he is saying stuff that is scaring the hell out of me right now.
Oh man!
And he just killed a dude for giving him a report.
I'm just a messenger, man. Don't kill a messenger. Haven't you heard that?
And I'm like, and that's one of the things that I liked about Rogue One was the fact that they brought him back to voice Darth Vader, he was still doing the same. Like he's the best parts.
He's easily the best part of Rogue One, no problem, hands down. He's the best part of Rogue One.
Because when he had the director critic told him don't choke on his own ambition, dude, I was like, that's Darth Vader.
Don't get me started on Rogue One, bro.
But like I said, he's the best part. But I mean, it's one of those situations like these movies don't work without them three and that villain.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
It just doesn't work because it was like I was telling somebody who got mad at me for not liking Kylo Ren all that much in Force Awakens. I'm like, dude, the reason why I'm not feeling him is because one, he doesn't terrify me like Darth Vader did. Darth Vader, you heard the breathing, and they cut the sound out. What they would do was they go back and watch it. They would cut the sound out, and all you hear is
some horror movie stuff.
And then you hear this voice, and then you see people die.
Yeah, they only sound, especially like in the 80s, 70s, 80s.
Yeah,
the only like villains or people that had sounds like that were horror. Like you had
Leatherface.
You had Jason with the easily recognizable just from that.
Yeah,
and so was Darth Vader with the Like that was recognized. He was basically a horror movie monster, you know.
Yeah, and they portrayed him like that.
Right.
So yeah, if you don't have those 4 characters, it don't work. Now this, I think they're trying to build it around Finn, Rey, Poe, and Kylo, but the problem is it just doesn't seem like it's working because of the writing.
It could have worked, but the writing is just not good. It's not
especially
good.
In this one.
Especially in this one. Force Awakens, it was almost there. It was just
in Force Awakens, you see flashes of it, but I think that one of the things I think that the main problem is the switching of directors.
Yeah,
because
I thought that was a genius idea for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, no, it's not.
I guess because it worked in the original trilogy, but it didn't really work because George Lucas was over all that stuff. It wasn't he wasn't directing actively, but he was the executive producer. He was running the show.
Yeah, he was on set all the time, dude.
Yeah, so it wasn't like he was hands off.
Yeah. So I mean, and the thing is, this was J.J. Abrams when he started. That's why I was like, why didn't he just? If you know that's what you want to do, and you already knew you were doing a trilogy,
it's not his decision. It's Kathleen Kennedy's decision.
Yeah, but therein lies the other problem.
Right.
If you know that's what you're doing as a trilogy, you don't get Peter Jackson to do the Lord of the Rings and then go get Brett Ratner to do
Jackson.
You don't get Brett Ratner to go do Two Towers.
My gosh.
You know,
right.
You don't do that.
I like Brick. I liked Looper, but that doesn't mean you're ready for a Star Wars movie.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, and that's just me outside looking in. I love movies, so
I just think he came in and was like, he just kissed Kathleen Kennedy's feet and got the job. He was just like, I'll do everything you want. I'll throw on all this SJW stuff, pro women stuff, which is no problem. Here's the problem.
The problem is when it's forced.
It's so forced. And here's the thing, like I feel like
naturally.
Is James Cameron the only one that can write a strong female character without shoving it down your throat?
I'm starting to think so.
I feel like that is the case because every time somebody else does it, it's so forced.
Well, and I think what the main problem is, we got the perfect example of how to do a movie like that right without being disrespectful to anybody, and it was called Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman killed it.
They did it right without.
And they could have totally botched it. They could have totally.
Because that was one of my biggest fears.
Mine too.
But they didn't, and I'm like, it was respectful and showing that basically we all need each other. Now this they ain't really saying that, but
yeah, like
I agree with you. Sometimes it feels like James Cameron's the only one that knows how to do it, and then they give him flack when he says something.
Yeah, he's written 2 of the strongest female characters we'll ever see in films
of all time. Yeah, but it feels like it's forced because that's the I hate to have to be like that, but Hollywood goes by trend, what's trending, and that's what's hot right now. So I hate to say it like that, but that's what it feels like.
Yeah, they pander. The 2 Chinese girls are obviously pandering to the Chinese market.
I mean, hell, Transformers did it.
And Transformers does it too. So it's just like this is the world we live in. They don't care about story. It's dollars over story.
Yeah.
So
which is understandable. It's a business.
I understand it's a business, but you can still
do it right. Yeah.
You can still have a movie that makes a lot of money and not have to pander down your throat.
Yeah. It's called Captain America: Civil War and Winter Soldier.
Avatar didn't do that. Avatar is the highest grossing movie of all time.
Yeah, and they had probably one of the best villains in Stephen Lang being a complete and total asshole.
Yeah, I mean they had environmental stuff in there, but it wasn't shoving it down your throat.
It wasn't beating you over the head with it.
Right.
Like, you're gonna love the environment, damn it. They weren't doing that.
No. So I don't know, man.
Here is hoping.
It's sad to see.
Here is hoping that episode 9, since J.J. Abrams will be back.
He's a better storyteller. Yeah. Easily than Rian Johnson. But the problem is he's gonna have to do some retcon.
Yeah.
And it's just gonna feel weird.
We still don't know what they're gonna do about Carrie Fisher's character, Princess Leia. We don't know what they're gonna do about it. I'm hoping they don't Grand Moff Tarkin this, because I'm hoping they don't do that. Yeah. And
See, going after money is what got us into this mess.
Yeah,
because they signed that $4 billion. They what was it, 4 point something billion dollars?
4.6 billion.
$4.6 billion they gave to George Lucas for this Star Wars trilogy, and they had to make that money back in a hurry. So
they got what 2.5 right now.
Yeah, but that's
overall
you gotta take out advertising costs and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But they had to make their money back. So they got this genius idea. At least they thought it was genius. We're just gonna get 3 different directors basically, and we're not gonna have any kind of set story for this new trilogy. We're gonna let one guy do it, and then the next guy take over and do what he wants to do, and the next guy take over and do what he wants to do from that, and that's genius. And the fanboys will come and they'll bow to the movie anyway because it's Star Wars, and that's the problem. They were looking about the dollars first to make that money back first, and not thinking about the story first. And that's why it's such a mess right now. J.J. Abrams set up some stuff.
Yeah, he did. And the other thing is, like you said, the fans. Let's be honest. Outside of Star Trek, Star Wars and Star Trek probably got the 2 biggest fan bases. Where if you only get like a quarter of the fans to come see a movie, you still making bank.
Right.
And that's, once again, like you said, that's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we saw it with Star Wars Battlefront.
We're gonna get a bunch of new fans, based on the pandering that they've been doing.
Yeah.
So the old guard won't matter, at the end of the day.
Yeah, and we saw that with Star Wars Battlefront 2. There was so many fans that went and got it, even though the game was completely jacked up, and they defended.
Yeah, they defend. Not only do they buy it, but they defend the crap about
So this is going to have the same effect, and I think at the end of the day, that's the problem because they know this.
Yeah,
Lucasfilm knows this. They know that all they got to get is a certain percentage of their fan base to come.
They just didn't care. They just wanted to make money, and that doesn't sit right.
And they know they're going to.
Yeah,
because they're going to make it off the name. They know that. I mean, it's
but they
sad,
lied,
but it's the
though.
truth.
They lied while they were signing those papers. They said we're going to protect these characters. We're going to do all this stuff, and they did not do any of that. And it's just like.
And that's the thing. Like, if you were gonna do that, you ain't got to bring them in to do that because this is supposed to take place 30, 40 years later anyway.
30 years later.
You could have easily said they died of old age.
Yeah, you could have said that. They could have all died off or been dying or close to death in the new one, and start your own thing.
Because if they kill Chewbacca, we riot. Nah.
I would have been completely fine with it.
Yeah.
They felt like they had to do this to get the fans, to show up and make sure it's going to be a success.
Yeah, even though they missed one of probably the biggest things to be actually edgy, but whatever. Like I said,
it was faux edginess. It was fake
edginess.
Yeah.
It's one of the ones that's I'm gonna be in a conundrum probably for a good part of 2018, trying to figure out how this feels for me, because like I said, at the end of the day, I did wind up enjoying it, even though I noticed all of this stuff while I was watching the movie, and I'm like, okay, that's weird, but I'm still enjoying myself. That's weird, still enjoying myself. Why did they save Finn? That's weird.
That's weird.
Still enjoying myself.
Speaking of that sequence, my last thing I think is, you had Leia, who did nothing basically. Once she came out of her coma, she basically did nothing. She gave a few orders. She met up with Luke, who wasn't really there, which was another thing that was just like a slap in the face because he never told her that he wasn't there.
Yeah.
So that was just like, that's kind of messed up. You finally meet up with your sister after all this time, and you're not even really there. It's kind of like, what it reminded me of? Dr. Manhattan.
Oh, yeah.
When he was like, having sex with your girl, but he wasn't really there.
He wasn't in the room, yeah.
That was just like cold.
Cold.
But anyway, so you had a sequence where Leia could have done something, because we saw her basically Super Saiyan herself back to the ship.
Yeah.
So we saw her do some cool stuff with the Force, which, if you really think about it, was pretty cool. And we know that she had, abilities in the Force.
Sensitive,
They alluded to that. She was Force sensitive. That was fine. I had no problem with her using the Force. I actually expected to see that. But here's a moment where she could have used the Force. Remember when they were escaping out the back?
Yeah.
And those rocks were in the way, and everybody was distraught. And I'm like, what the hell are you distraught for? You got a Super Saiyan with you.
Yeah. I'm like,
who could move all these rocks no problem.
Go Super Saiyan 2 and take care of this.
But of course she doesn't do it. Rey does it. And I'm like, come on, man. Dude, that's another come on, man moment. Like,
man, they had to make it where her and Finn could finally be reunited and everybody get mad in the theater.
They could. I had no problem with them being reunited because Finn was with Leia and them, and then the rebels. Yeah. But why didn't Leia move the rocks? Why did this girl who has no training, dude? If you think about it, she had been using Jedi powers for a week.
Basically,
like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because Force Awakens happens over maybe a few days. That movie.
Yeah, that's true.
And then this is Last Jedi is like right after that. It's literally right after that because she shows up on the island and she's holding out the lightsaber. So we're talking about some chick who's been using the Force for a week and a half, moving rocks and doing all this crazy stuff, which is fine if you explain it, which you didn't. But Leia,
as always,
using it for decades. Like, why were they worried? Like, once they went to that quote unquote dead end, dude, Leia's right here.
Yeah, the foxes could get out, but nobody else could.
Right, like it just there's so many lazy plot holes. Just I don't know, man. It's disheartening as a guy who who's a filmmaker. I'm not on that level, but I basically learned the way they learned. I went to film school just like them. And to see basic storytelling just thrown out of the window, like storytelling 101, screenwriting 101, one of my favorite classes. There's rules to this. You have to follow the rules.
And they didn't follow any of them.
They didn't follow any of them. So, when I try to tell people who don't understand that, because a lot of people don't understand that, they watch a movie and they don't realize that you're being fed stuff that has been set up for centuries. Storytelling, the way stories are told, the 3 acts setup. This is stuff that goes back centuries, hundreds of years, to people acting on a stage. So, and you don't realize it, but your brain does. You know what I'm saying? These are things that happen in movies because this is how people like to hear stories. And when you don't do that, some people are watching a movie like, well, I'm not really sure. I liked it, but there's something missing, something wrong, because they didn't tell the story the right way, the way the human brain, likes to hear it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, what it is. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed our review. Like I said, I know some people probably gonna be upset and not even trying to hear it, but hey, look, it's just stuff we want to get off our chest.
Yeah, it wasn't just me and you what we just did. It wasn't just ranting. Oh, it sucked. This sucked. This sucked.
Nah.
I feel like we explained it pretty well. Like we went point by point, and we both love Star Wars. We're not like doing this to get some views or something stupid like that. It's just we care. Like if I didn't care, I wouldn't even be doing this review. Like,
we just let it go. Like,
right.
Like I'm not gonna be reviewing Marvel's Runaways.
There you go.
But yeah, this once again, this is one of those ones that's I'm probably gonna be scratching my head over for a long time, like I was with Attack of the Clones, because I just didn't understand it.
I hope J.J. Abrams can do something to bring this back around, to where it makes sense, and I think he will. It's still going to be weird because there's some stuff that just happened in the movie that's hard to fix. If you do, it's going to feel like, oh, they just tried to retcon that, so then it's going to feel right. But hopefully, because I feel like he set up. You know what? I feel like J.J. Abrams watching that movie and he was mad. I just feel like that because it was like, man, I set up all this cool stuff and you did that. You did what?
Yeah, man, you couldn't call me, you couldn't text me and tell me what you were going to do.
Right. He'll never say that he was pissed off by it.
Well, he can't.
But look at all the interviews with Mark Hamill talking about this.
Oh man,
he did not like what they turned Luke into. And there's countless interviews of him saying that, basically.
And then he did the one Twitter thing, and now people are saying, Disney made you say it.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, come on, man.
You got 20, 30 interviews where you taking a dump on it, and all of a sudden, them lawyers called.
Yeah, it's like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, like one of my friends was trying to point that out. Retro Dev was trying to say, "Oh, look at the tweet." I'm like, man, look at the 30 intervieers.
Yeah,
in one tweet.
Apologizing, basically.
Sponsored by Disney.
Yeah.
No, I don't trust that.
Mickey was like, look, motherfucker.
Dude, he was on stage with Kathleen Kennedy, and she had to step in to stop him, basically from saying he didn't like what they were doing to Luke.
Yeah.
This was happening in real time, so don't tell me about some afterthought tweet.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what we call lawyers.
And yeah, exactly. Them Disney lawyers ain't playing around with you.
Yeah. Ask EA.
Yeah, I feel bad for him because he signed on thinking George Lucas was going to direct it. At the time, Lucas was.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
and within a few months, Lucas had sold it.
Which, despite popular belief, I'm kind of glad because let's be honest. As much as I love George Lucas, that made me be putting some horrible dialogue in the movies.
Lucas said, I was excited when I heard Disney was going to take it.
Yeah,
I was like, well, it needs fresh new blood.
Yeah,
coming up with these stories.
Because I'm sorry, midichlorians, get out of here.
Yeah,
sand is coarse. It's no.
Don't get. I'm not a fanboy, so don't come at me with that stuff. I was excited when I heard he sold it to Disney because I was like, oh, that's a perfect company, I think, for fantasy stuff. They're really good at that stuff.
And plus, they got Pixar right down the hall, so if they need something, it at least look good.
Exactly. So I was excited before this stuff went down. It wasn't like I was hating from the beginning.
I was just hating on the dialogue from the trilogies, man. From the prequel trilogies.
Prequels, I
was hating on that because I'm like, dude, this is horrible.
Yeah, he needed some help with those movies.
Yeah, I mean, you kill one of the best daggone villains you had off the rip.
Yeah,
and everybody retcons it, but you still you don't get called out on it. Come on, man.
Which again, I understand him doing that. As him being by himself in his own head writing these stories. There was nobody outside to say, hey, man, I don't think you should kill Darth Maul. That's a dumb move. Because he's thinking, I got Count Dooku. I got General Grievous. I got a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I got an asthmatic android.
Okay. Right, which is, cool. But, you had this cool villain that you set up that people liked more.
That attached to way quick. We got attached to him off 2 scenes.
Exactly, 2 scenes. It was like, oh, Darth Maul is a badass. I need more Darth Maul. But again, if you're sitting there writing this stuff by yourself, you're thinking, well, General Grievous is cool as hell, and so is Dooku, and so I understand. But that's when you need somebody else to come in and say no.
That's when you need that one real friend you guys say, hey man, let me see it, man. Let me see what you're working with. Have you lost your damn mind? So they can tell you what's going on. But yeah, people, like I said, hope you guys enjoyed it. And we will be giving our reviews because one of our most anticipated films will be coming up in February. Dashikis will be out for Black Panther.
Black Panther
in February. So please believe that will be getting reviewed.
Oh boy,
by us. Matter of fact, we might even pull in some extra people just to make it a full Blackish review.
It's an event, man. It's gonna be an event.
Got to be an event. might have to get a crew together for a full-on review of this. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. And like I said, we'll be trying to keep with the reviews. We are planning on doing a live fresh take one of these weekends. We'll figure that out later. So if you follow me on Twitter, just you can follow me at J Fleming. It's in the description. No, it's not in the description. It's actually in the about if you're on YouTube. But just follow me there, and you'll find out when we plan on doing that. But yeah, that's probably going to be a while because I got to figure out what we're going to do. So just be on the lookout for that. T, any final thoughts you want to get out?
No, I think I just want to thank you for letting me vent because I needed to do this. But yeah, I hope you guys out there enjoy this trilogy going forward, because unless something dramatic happens, I'm not going to see episode 9 in the theater anyway. So that's
what that means is he's gonna go to a black theater and talk to his homeboy at the box office. He's actually gonna walk in. That's what that means.
Yeah, Disney will not be getting my money on the Blu-ray for this movie or in the box office for the next one, unless some real major things happen. So,
translation: I'm waiting for it to come on Hulu.
Something I already paid for. That's what's gonna happen. So,
but yeah, people, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we will see you guys on our next vid. Peace out, and as always, thanks for watching.
Peace.